Well, class, good afternoon. How are you this afternoon? Okay, I hope you're doing well. Well, today is going to be more convenient and going to be pleasure when I'm discussing these things to you because we are discussing about something great in the world. What is this? It is about intercultural communication. So inside, before we're talking it diverse, we need to gather more about knowledge. We begin at habit and culture. Culture, communication. We start from habit, and then it creates culture. Let's take a look from the habit and culture in Japan, U.S., and Indonesia. So many culture in Japan that we should recognize, and also U.S. So, what are they? Okay, at the least, Japan are mostly disciplined and also hard workers. As a proof in that picture, many people waiting for public transportations while carrying on their suitcase before going to their work on the office. Okay, that indicates people are disciplined. Yeah, and then that when the new people they always bow their head by saying hey. Yeah, always bow together by saying hey. This is the cultures that we find easily from Japan. And also, it's about when the ceremonial of drinking tea. Yeah, is it kind of welcoming the guests from Japan? It will use ceremonial. We can call it kabuki. It's just the drink tea together with the same to celebrate the guest, the special guest, I think. Yeah, and then also in U.S. Um, as we know, U.S. is many technology um, coming up from there. Examples. So we can conclude that people always work with technology. As a proof, many software developer comes there. The Facebook, YouTube, many programs, especially from applications, mostly the software builders or the software developers from USA. So it is kind of the culture and habit the young learners from US should learn or should study about technology. Yeah, even further. And then that I take a look from Americans, mostly they work until 12 hours. Yeah, but in the rules, normally it's 8 hours in a working day, 5 working days, 8 hours per day. But in fact, so many people having loyalty. Besides, they finishing something to be finished or finishing job in the office, and they work until 12 hours there. And then the American always eat outside. Really, we can see many food court there, many restaurant outside there. Many restaurants provide outside seating, like in McDonald's, like in KFC, like in so many. Pizza Hut. They provide the outside seating while enjoying the food provided. And then now it's already absorbed from our country. The Indonesia already had many food court, many McDonald's restaurant here. Yeah, it's going to be habit and also culture from there. That everything's about commercial things, commercial about trading. Yeah, food trading especially. It's easy to spread around the world, like American does. And then back to our country. Actually, when we are talking about Indonesia, people tend to be negative or pessimist about our culture. But exactly we are the rich country that have many luxurious culture. Yes, but only when I take a negative. When we talk it about um, Indonesian, always talkative. Yeah, always talkative everything. We can call it kepo. We can call it kepo. Is it about curious of everything until the privacy of someone they should know it? Yeah, this is Indonesia. Indonesia. But sometimes kepo is tend to be okay. What we are discussing today. Just now, we are talking about Indonesia tend to be talkative. Mostly people call it negative. It's like curious about someone's privacy. But curiosity or talkative here not only tend to be negative. We can also take from the positive thing. When people curious something about science, it's very find something new in the science is mostly in positive. And then the unique next from Indonesia, the unique um, mindset from Indonesia include me like Indonesian. Uh, they will not eat. Yeah, they will not eat if they have not eaten the rice. As we know, the rice is the main food or the primary food in Indonesia. But exactly, if people eat bread in the morning, but in the middle of the day, they will say, I haven't eaten rice. So this is the great mindset from our country. Access and sustainable with the rice. We believe that rice is our ancestral food before the modern food come to Indonesia. The rice was the old one and make us full enough. And it avoids starving. Okay. And then Indonesia also very polite when greeting newcomer. For example, Indonesia and many foreigner visiting Indonesia. And then Indonesia welcoming them is very great. Indonesia is polite. Indonesia has the high attitude, yeah, high attitude, welcoming people, and then easy to adapt to another people, and always welcome to everyone. This is Indonesia. And then when agreeing something, Indonesians always give the double thumbs up. Really, thumbs up when agreeing something. Or we can call it when we agreeing something, we can putting the double thumbs up. After that, say sip. This is the cultures and habit in Indonesia. All of them tend to be positive thing that we can getting from it. And then also in Japan, in US, and Indonesia, still many habit and culture that tend to be positive, and we can get from it. And exactly, what is intercultural communication here? When we are talking intercultural communication is a kind of discipline and that studies about communications across different cultures. So do we have keyword different culture and social groups? And how cultures affect communication? Why? Because we have culture. Every country have a culture. And then we don't know the culture itself exactly. We need to study. Yeah, it is kind of disciplined to studies communication between different culture and social groups. Who knows? Indonesia and Malaysia and Brunei has different cultures, dominant culture, right? So each country is to be united in Asia ASEAN. Yeah, ASEAN. So the first one that they do is recognizing or exploring their cultures properly. They mostly expose their cultures to public, even in the world. And then also different culture in social groups. Yeah, maybe in the community. So here is the cultures, communication, intercultural communications is discipline that studies communication across different cultures and social groups. Or we can say in other words, it is how culture affect communication. Because you know everyone has habit and cultures. So how far the culture affect in their communications. As the social creators, because human is social creators, they could not live without someone else, without something else. So it's always so why we should study about culture, intercultural communications. Um, the first one is should explore. We can explore the culture awareness. Okay, the richest country, they will appreciate their culture. The culture. For example, Indonesia will not forget about cultures, will not forget about history. So it will be accessible in the world if they explore culture awareness. And then also the aims why we should learn about intercultures. It will get communication process among the culture. Remember, if we start to communicate, so we should know the process of the communication itself. Because between the culture, across the cultures, sometimes we have a different way how to communicate because of the culture itself. As the example, if we are going to um, eating rice or even eating bread, between culture in US and culture in Indonesia are totally different. Mostly Indonesia handled by only their hands. Indonesia, yeah, when taking the bread using their hands, that's normal. But in US, you must be hygiene. Use fork or spoon, so it will have more uh, convenient side. But it's culture. So if we get the communication process information about the culture, so we can do it normally, or can do it properly. It's not getting gaps beside the cultures. It's normal running. And then after that, intercultural communication able to enrich and acquire knowledge, skill, and attitudes. Example for us that we are young learners. Someday, if we are going to study overseas, before you go to study, the first one you will have preparation. But in preparations, you will study about the cultures, culture knowledge and skill and attitude, to the destination or the country are you going to study. So it will have more enrich and acquire the knowledge, skill. And then remember, next one's the functions or the aim of discovers important rules. Okay, they discover important rules. Remember, when we are talking about yeah, bilateral in relationship between two countries. So if we understand each other, its cultures, maybe we cooperate with Brunei, we cooperate with US. If we understand each cultures, that it will discover the important role. Maybe the other can be adapted, or it can the other will make it suitable. Yeah, that's why discover importance is also the aim of intercultural communications. So the party understand their its role properly. Okay, so after we know the goal or why should we study about intercultures, so let's take a look the more examples in many part of life. For example, like this. So we can call it when the sample is implementation and education. In educations, how we implement the cultures, if we use for it for student exchange. Of course, when I was talking in advance that student exchange, the first one is recognizing or enriching knowledge about cultures in the country that they want to study. For example, if we go study in US or in London, we study about culture in US and London, about living lifestyle, about habit and other. And also when implement about education, in education side, we join a competitions like debate contest, like speech contest. So automatically they will show the culture from different country and different social groups. And and then of course for overseas study, and someday who knows the student here have a chance to study overseas. The first one is to study about culture also. And then about politics, the example in politics, military country union, or we can call it PBB in the world. Indonesia is the member of military country union. Yeah. Of course, if we join in military country unions, so we should understand the culture of each country, even Indonesia and other country. And bilateral relationship, of course, like I said in advance, bilateral also studying about culture. So they understand each culture. And then in a politics, it's about consolidations. When some country has troubles, yeah, maybe because of racism, because of religions. So by understanding the cultures, we should have actions to have a consolidations to make them peace in the world, to make them not have a conflict anymore. Sorry. And then about industry. Remember, in industry, so many industry that study about culture. For example, in tourism, and special subject in tour and travel matter. Remember, the travel agent and the travel planner will recognize the candidates of travelers. The first one is recognizing or introducing the country and the culture first. Yeah, it is very important when the travelers study about cultures. Many things to get from tour and travel. And then foreigners, workers, Indonesia and other country, same. Foreign worker, it has foreign workers. As a proof in our area in Batam especially, there are so many foreign workers that work in Indonesia. And also, Indonesia also being international workers, or we can call it TKI. Yeah, this is they will be working in another country. So the first one they should recognize that they should introduce the culture first. Okay, related to export and import, the next implement in industry is export and import industry. Yeah, because under rule, sometime of export and import industry is tend to be in a culture. Yeah, because of culture, we can sell this, we can sell the product or commodity in each country like this. And the next, the implementations of in religion. Wow, is the people have the religion, of course, because the worship trips. For example, Muslim will give trip to Mecca for getting Hajj every year, and maybe from Thailand, Buddhist to Thailand, and then Christian or Vatican, Jerusalem, Hindu to India. That's why we should recognize the culture. So here is, after we recognize, we know the implement or examples, and then we should have discussion also about advantages and disadvantages of intercultures. As you know, that advantages here is developed in humanity. It is about responsible among human beings, because the human need to be intercourse each other, and then when intercourse, humans should be educated properly. Yeah, this is when we are studying about cultures, automatically human educate each culture properly. So they can easy to have intercourse each other, even it between the countries. And sometimes study about interculture, it has many disadvantages. For example, in politic alignment, yeah, when we pros and cons country, it should be politic alignment. Maybe about conflict in a country, Indonesia support to Asia, Indonesia support to Europe, Indonesia support to Americans. That will not make us convenient, because exploring different cultures, it can create the racism. Yeah, pros and cons, even politic war, due to the ethnic matter. So in the last times in US, the politics, not politics, but in policy, it demanding to be defined or rearrange the rules of policy, because policy do racism between the black and color white, black and white colors in the US. Okay, thanks for your attention. We have studied about, we have discussed about intercultural communications. I hope you understand what I explained, and next time we'll change the new topic. Okay, thanks. See you next time and enjoy your day. Thanks.